How's it going, guys? And welcome to RC Cincy. Today I wanted to accomplish a few things. Number one, we're gonna do an inspection and let you know some areas that I've had issues with my 4-stroke that I purchased, used, of course. And things to kind of look out for. I'm not, someone that can give you a teardown guide and can tell you every spec and every bit of detail about it. But I know how it works and what typically goes wrong with them. And in my particular case, it had a few issues, so I kind of try to resolve those. And then I have a couple other important announcements. So I figure I'll just, instead of making multiple videos, I'll kind of lump everything in one. So, I was fortunate enough, if you saw a previous video, you may have seen a picture of a big P-40 airplane, brown. It's a really beautiful bird. It was a ARF, almost ready to fly, and it just looked like someone put some components in it and it never flew. So they put this motor in it. They put a few Futaba servos in it, a off and on switch, and that's really it. It didn't have the cowl, the cowl from the front. It didn't have the fuel tank. It was missing a lot of parts, and how I tell it's never been flown is it never had a control horn attached to the ailerons. So it's never been flown. I guarantee it. I doubt someone's gonna fly with just rudder and elevator. And even at that, one of the sides of the elevators had a crack in it, but close to the body of the airplane. So it needs repairs, it needed this and that. And I saw this motor. Well, what happened is he showed me pictures of it. His buddy was cleaning out a garage, some guy that I guess had this stuff, and he gave it to him for, he gave him some stuff that he cleaned out. And, helped him clean out. He gave him some stuff. So this is one of the items, was this airplane with this motor. So I purchased the whole entire package. I didn't pay much for it. And I was excited because I always wanted a 4-stroke motor. I've had nitros, plenty of them. I had, big, I had big block nitros. I had 3.3s, 2.5s. I had, 18s, well, I guess that's a 3.0. I had quite a few different sizes. I even had like the .15s and stuff, when they were putting them into RS. I don't think it was RS3, RSs, or maybe RS2s. I can't remember. It's been so long. So, I've had quite a few different nitro motors. I've even had a .46 airplane motor that I broke in and only flew like once. So I had, I still have a dirt stadium truck. I got another one that I'm gonna be doing a restoration project on. Follow that, we're gonna find a roller and kind of swap everything into it. It's gonna be fun. If you want to rescue or save or build a nitro, we'll go over that, and that'll be a separate video. So, I've had plenty of experiences with it. Well, not as far as 4-strokes go. So first thing I did is I just went ahead and took, it only had 2 screws holding the motor on. Something this big and heavy and powerful, I recommend all 4 screws be used. So this is a Saito FA-120. I don't know if this company's still around, honestly. I think you could buy the motors, but I don't think they're still being produced. I know they sell parts for them. Your most popular thing you're gonna do for a 4-stroke is replace the main bearings in there. They tend to go bad, with the, torque and the high RPMs, it wears bearings out. So that's your most common issue. But what I found out with this one is it had a couple of other issues. So we'll kind of go over that. So first thing I noticed was the carburetor, or the carburetor throttle lever right here that gives it gas, was stuck. So I highly recommend getting a bottle of Afterrun. Now, if you have a nitro car, you know what Afterrun is. Hopefully you use it. I'm telling you, it really gives you longevity when it comes to your nitro motor. I wish it wasn't stuck in a closet with a bunch of other stuff, but I'll pull out my nitro motor right now and turn it, and it turns smooth. It's not seized. It has 0 issues, and it turns good with good compression, because I always coat the motor with Afterrun when I'm done. This oil gets into the ring, you know, where the ring is, the sleeve, the piston, everything, lubes it, keeps it from seizing, and keeps it from gunking up as well. It's just really, really good oil. It's not too expensive. I think it's like maybe $5 or $6 a bottle. I may get it out here in a second. Just a little bottle of Afterrun. I think the brand that I have is Hobbyco, I do believe. So all I did was dropped a few drops right there, a little bit of drops right here, and then I kind of worked it slowly, and it just broke free. It was just stuck, like it wanted to be seized, you know, the metal sitting there not being ran. And I got it working really, really good. The choke was a little stuck, but then once I started actually working the choke, it started moving again. So there we go. So the choke's moving again, no problem. You can kind of see that oil right there. That's the Afterrun. That's good stuff. You want that on there. So that's how you set up the choke and everything. That's the choke. This is your throttle right here. So I also put a dab in here. And there's a little needle, and this is what adjusts the fuel mixture ratio, whether it's rich or lean. Very important in a 4-stroke. There's that. So, you know, once I put a few drops in there and kind of worked it, that made a huge difference for the carburetor. Made it to where I don't basically have to take it apart. That's what I wanted to avoid, actually. It's not a bad idea if you had like a major issue. I obviously have to take it apart, but I'm going to try to avoid it. Here is your, I think this is your idle screw. I do believe right here on the side of it, it sets the idle. So you want to really invest in one of those RPM guns where you point at the prop, you have a mark on a prop or whatever, and it tells you how many revolutions per minute you're getting. That's very important for an airplane. Tells you if it's running correctly, if it's got enough, you know, it's going to give you enough power and speed to take off and fly properly. So that's pretty important, but we'll get into that. Something that's totally different video. We'll get into that. So those were the first few issues I ran into. And then I noticed the exhaust was loose, which is fine. It's just a little bolt right here. You can adjust it depending on the angle to match your cowl, so it comes out correctly. This was mounted this way. You can see the way the carburetor is. This was mounted upside down. That way the cowl can fit and it looks more realistic. You don't have, you know, which I think it would look good if this actually stuck out of the top. That wouldn't bother me so much. A lot of planes will just have like this part right here sticking out, just these little heads, and I think that looks good in my opinion. But it wasn't set up that way, which I could if I wanted to. And then the other issue was I felt no compression. Like now, you can hear that, listen. That's really good compression. The issue was, let me show you what the issue was. I'll just rather show you than tell you. I think it'd be better. Now, there is quite a bit of Afterrun all inside this motor and everywhere I could. And another thing I immediately did before I started turning this motor is I took this little glow plug right here out, that little glow plug, I took it out and I put about 4 or 5 drops of Afterrun in, coating the sleeve, coating the piston ring. That way when I'm turning it, it's not causing friction, and it's also keeping it from becoming seized in the future. So I did that as well. You have these little, you have a little timing gear in here that's very important. If you do ever take this apart, make sure you mark it, make sure you put it back the right way. There's little rods that go through here that actually push up on a little rocker with a spring back here. But let's just open it up, that way I can show you these things, right? So faux strokes are really interesting. I think they're very interesting. Like I said, I'm not a pro at faux strokes. I'm not gonna claim to be. I wanted to do this video because I also wanted to announce a few things. So I figured why not just do it all. So now, 2 of these screws are the correct screws, and the other 2 are not. I really need to get the correct screws for the other side, because the only difference is it's not so much the length, because it can only go so far. It's the size of the head of the screw. It looks dumb. It doesn't seat all the way properly in there. So what it was so important for me to get these tight is A, I didn't want dirt and dust getting in it, and I didn't want all my oil escaping when it was going to be ran. So that's another thing I wanted to do. So you want them nice and tight, but you also do not, I repeat, do not want to strip anything that screws into this head. Very important. In the past, I've wrecked and damaged, the head on a 2-stroke, those heads. Sometimes you get those little plastic parts that go on top that kind of protect it. You put like little zip ties for little bumpers to keep the heads from getting damaged. Well, I've damaged one before to where I broke, the Allens in there, and I pretty much ruined the head. So you do not want to strip these screws, especially, I'm not saying parts are, hard to find for this, but I'm sure they're not cheap. This motor, new, is probably $379 to $400. I can almost guarantee you this is a $300 motor, at least a $300 motor, brand new. I don't know if you can find it new anymore. I really don't know that. I don't want to say. So you remove these covers very carefully. You see some of the oil in there. That's a good sign. That's what you want. I'm sure they make a special oil for this particular motor. But after one, I promise you, it's not going to hurt it. At least not for my motor. You can do as you wish. So you can see the oil in there. That's what we want. So the issue was, there's a little, let me push it up all the way. There we go. That's full extension. This little, I'm sure I'm on the right one. See that little, there's a little rod in here. It popped out from underneath there. It was kind of to the side of it. And what caused that was there was not enough spring tension on there. And how it happens is these were sticking down. The springs were sticking down. They were stuck, stiff. They had no lube right there, no lube on the spring, and no lube down in the rod itself. It was sticking. So what was causing is that's how it gets compression, because there's little valves that go up and down in there. That's how you get compression. When the valve opens, it allows fuel to come in, and then it fires, and then it releases gases. So it's very important that these move, obviously. So yeah, you have 2 valves, one for fuel and then one for exhaust. So obviously the fuel's this side because you can see the fuel going to it, and then this side is exhaust. Well, you can literally see them function. Let me turn that for you so you can see them go up and down. See? See how it's going up and down? See that? You hear that? That's compression. Well, literally both of those came off because these springs were sticking down, and the rod would go down with the timing gear, that pushes it up or whatever, and it would go down, and the spring wouldn't, keep tension on it, and it just went to the side of it and got jammed up. And I was turning it, it felt like I had no compression. But once I lubed the spring, lined it up, the rod back into the little notch in there or groove in there, it was perfectly fine. Push down on them so where the spring, put a lube in there so the spring can move with it, and look at that. beautiful movement to it. And you can see the oil right there. Very important. These can be adjusted, believe it or not. These actually can be adjusted. So there's the springs themselves can be wore out. Over time, the springs can wear out so they'll keep the right tension on it. And then I'm sure you can adjust, you know, the way they're attached. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on the adjustments themselves, just because, like I said, I'm not a 4-stroke expert. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the after run that I use. So if anyone knows the proper oil, but here's the thing with after run, it's designed to stop friction. It's designed to stop it from gumming, corroding. So this stuff is really good. So I learned to put some on the spring, on this little, right here where the joint is, right here where it rocks. Same here, a little bit down in there, a little bit right here. So I want oil on this motor. I don't want to run it dry. I put plenty in the carburetor, so I recoated everything. And then, this is the brand. This isn't the right cap, by the way, but this is the brand right here. I think it's Hobbyco. Yeah, Hobbyco. So any brand doesn't really matter. I'm sure Traxxas makes it, everyone makes it. So make sure you have these going the right way. They get narrower and then fatter on this side. So you just slide one on and slide the other one on here. If you get them correctly, it'll fit. It'll be a nice, snug, tight fit. You want these to be tight to keep particles, dirt, dust, everything from getting in there and then trapping your oil in the in there as well. You want to trap your oil. So you can tell those screws are not the correct screws. These two right here are not the correct screws. I don't know where they got these from, but those are not the correct screws. But fortunately for me, it's gonna hold it. Sorry, I need to keep that in frame. I tend to do that. So we're just gonna retighten this. Very simple. I want it nice and tight because I don't want any of my oil to escape. If a little bit comes out, I don't mind. Rather it be lubed than dry. I can almost guarantee you that that's not supposed to be dry. I could tell you that right now. The fuel won't get to it. The fuel will only lube with the oil that's in the fuel, will only lube the inside of the motor. It will not lube that head. I don't think it will, at least. There's no way it could. I don't see how to get to it. So what we're gonna do is make sure the correct screws are very, very tight, and then just put these in to kind of reinforce, keep them from coming up, you know, in case the other side of the screw kind of vibrates loose. I'll look into maybe getting some different screws for it, but for now, like I said, it'll at least keep the cover down, keep it from getting loose and coming off. You can tell because it doesn't fit in there, it doesn't seat in there like the other screw does. And then just nicely turn them in. So, theoretically, you can tear down this entire motor. One of the most important part is, I don't know if that can fit in one way or another, or if you can mess that up. The way this little timing gear, or whatever this is, a little lobe, or I'm not sure what it is to make the rods go up. I've never taken the inside of that. I've seen the pistons and then the little crank in there and the rod in there. You know, I've seen all that stuff, but I've never gone as far and stripping down a 4-stroke. I don't plan on, I thought I was gonna have to just because of the issues I had with the compression, but now, oh, it's even working even better. It's got great compression. Should start right up. As long as we got a good glow plug, you know, you spin it with this spinner. You can do it with a glove. I recommend a written glove. Put it to this point, and then that's when you do the flick, and it should theoretically start. You can use one of those little cone starters or whatever. My last nitro airplane, I just used my hand. Be careful, of course. So what else? That's all the issues I saw with it, honestly. It wasn't really dirty or corroded. I mean, it can be cleaned up with a brush. Let's say if you were to tear this down, if you were to take a brush and some proper cleaners and degreasers and stuff, you can make this engine probably look newer. I'm fine with its looks. That doesn't bother me as long as it runs good is the only thing I care about. This screw isn't seized. I can tell that it turns, but I don't want to mess with the idle. Like I said, the mixture screw works, so that's good. The choke works, you know, the throttle turns. I've put plenty of lube on that, so I know that turns nice and smooth. This is how you obviously get the pressure in a tank to keep feeding the fuel. You can get different carburetors and then different, like one that like kind of, I guess, runs a pump, or I can't remember exactly. There's so many different things you can run this. So a lot of the sport 120s have the gold heads. I don't know why this has a gold head on it. I guess because of the size maybe. But typically a Saito, a 120 Sport has the little gold covers. The regular 120 shouldn't have gold covers, but maybe they did that afterwards or something. Or it could be, no, it would have the S at the end of the 120. They have a kind of a big S, so that's not the case. I do have a prop. So I think honestly the next step in this process, let's set this up. I just love the way this motor looks. I remember there was a magazine and you know, it was that when I had my RS2 or RS whatever, the nitro little car back in the day, probably 2000 what? I don't know, 2001, 2002, very long time ago, 18 years ago or something like that. I remember there was a 32 or 26, or I can't remember what size, 4-stroke. They put it in a nitro car. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So in my opinion, these 4-strokes are much more torquey. I wouldn't say that the torque can create speed, because the torque's what actually turns the prop, right? So if you notice, a lot of the planes have more torque than they have horsepower. The torque, I think, is more relevant. That's what actually turns the prop and everything. So these can be fast. They create a lot of power. This is a really good size motor. It can power a lot of different aircraft. Easily 1.5 meter, I don't know, inches. You could easily do a 6-foot wingspan, 4-foot, 5-foot, 6-foot wingspan all day, 4-foot wingspan all day long. Depending what, you know, I mean, different applications, different props, you know, for different everything. You know, there's a formula. I'm not that familiar with flying lots of airplanes, so I'm not real familiar with the formulas and figuring stuff out. But the prop that's on there looks like it's the correct prop, so we're gonna put that prop on there. I'm gonna build a wood stand, like for, you know, 4 pieces of 2x4, and then, you know, put a little section in the middle, screw them all to the 2x4s, and then take the mount off the airplane, mount it to the motor, and then put the mount on into the wood, you know, screw it into the wood. That way I want to tune it. I want to learn to tune this properly. I want to learn to run it properly, have no issue starting it, make sure everything's okay with it, if it has good enough compression. Probably end up having to get one of those, I forget what they're called. You put a mark or something on it and it spins for RPMs or tire, whatever. For the RPMs of the prop, make sure it spins correctly and gets the correct RPMs. So that means it's, you know, it's functioning properly, it's set right, tuned correctly, obviously. So we'll run it and try it out. I'm gonna keep it this way so the oil stays, keep it upside down. That way the oil stays in those little covers and it's all in there. So I don't really see any other trouble areas. Like I said, there was a few, so just a quick recap. The throttle was sticking. The choke was definitely stuck. The little needle thing was stuck right here. The valves were, the springs themselves in the valves were sticking. The little rocker was sticking. The actual rods were to the side where they're supposed to be pushing into the rocker. They were to the side of it. I made sure that they were put back in the right place, not forcing them. Obviously, turn them to where they went all the way down, pushing the rocker up manually and kind of lining it up, not forcing it, obviously. And it worked out good for me. I got the spring unstuck. I got the right. It feels like it has the right tension on it. It may create issues when it's running. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure there's a way of adjusting those and dealing with that. There is someone at the airfield that has much more experience than I do when it comes to 4-strokes. So I'm going to put it on that stand and probably bring it up there and run it and see what he thinks about it. But I would like to at least run it the first time and tune it. You could say maybe it'd be a good idea to have him look at it before I run it and damage the motor. You know, I would hate for that to happen. A lot of time he recommends changing the bearings at the very least. I don't know how hard that would be to do. I don't know if I could access. I know there's a set of bearings right here, and then I think there's another ones for the actual rod. There's bearings at the end of the rod. So, made in Japan. I didn't know that. Saitos are made in Japan. But yeah, this, you can see the grease where it's coming out from where I put some down into the with the little rods in here. So that's not a bad thing. I don't mind that. Like, I want it to be lubed, and it's just, like I said, the compression, it's just got good compression. Like, it had nowhere near that compression. I wish, so what had happened is, you guys may have seen this video. So I did the video, I wasn't paying attention. My dog was acting a fool, barking in the background. I was kind of all over the place, even more than I usually am. And I actually kind of fixed it off camera like this so you couldn't see me pushing the rods back correctly where they need to belong at. And it was just a terrible video in general. So I decided to delete that, repost this. So that's why they weren't in the position that I said they were, because I already kind of corrected that. And to my surprise, it seems to have fixed it, you know. And then I think that's it for the motor itself. But it doesn't look good this way though. But part of some of the announcements, I guess. So my fiance has been giving me ideas for the channel. Giving me ideas for the channel, just things. You know, I've done, I don't know, 3 or 4 giveaways. I've done different things for the channel to kind of say thanks for you guys subscribing and watching my videos, obviously. And honestly, I want to do some other things as well for the channel. So I was trying to think what to do for the 1,000 subscriber, you know, for hitting 1,000 subscribers. I wanted to do something special for you guys. So I couldn't think whether to buy a boat, give it away, review it, or a plane, or I wasn't sure what to do, you know. A little RC car. Obviously, it wasn't going to be no $500-600 gift. You know, I can't do anything like that. That'd be crazy for me. But it was going to be something nice, you know, that can be fun. So they gave me the idea to basically do like a $40 or $50 Amazon gift. So you would go on Amazon, you'd find something that's like 40 or 50 bucks. I may do a gift card. I don't know exactly how that would work out. Or just tell me what you want off Amazon. That's $40 or $50, and I'll order it and have it sent to your house as a gift with a gift receipt or whatever. I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to handle that, but it's going to be something like that. It may just be an actual gift card. If I could figure out a way to get a gift card, like the code or whatever, and then you guys just put on your Amazon account, I have no problem doing it that way either. I'm going to kind of figure it more out. But it's going to be 40 or 50 bucks. That way you guys can get, you know, a little drone. There's a boat for $49. That's pretty damn good. There's, let's see what else. There's drones on there. There's the little WL Toys car. I think that's 60. I may even do a Visa. That way you can get it from Banggood. Because I feel like you can get the WL Toys drift car from Banggood or the Shark or whatever for a little bit cheaper. But you do have to wait for shipping. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Comment. Let's do something kind of like voting, okay? So this isn't the official announcement video. I will do that. But this was the brainstorming kind of video. So in the comments below, I would like you guys to say, hey, Amazon gift card would be cool, or Banggood gift card, or Visa, or whatever you guys want to do, or what item that's $50, $60. Obviously, the majority is going to win, or something close to it that folks kind of agree on. it's gonna be something. It's gonna be some kind of, you know, prize gift card, or, you know, RC, something obviously RC related. You know, that's what the channel is. I kind of want to get you guys in a hobby that way. I don't pick an RC car unless, say, the winner already has this RC car. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be, you know, something you guys already have. That way it gives you a chance to kind of look around on Amazon or Banggood or even GearBest. I have an account there as well, or even T-Mart, but they don't tend to have too much stuff. So one of those sites, getting, you know, for 50, 60 bucks, you get a little drift car, you get a drone, you get a boat, you can get an airplane, actually, WL Toy airplane. You can get all kinds of RC stuff. So, you know, you get a 3-in-1 if you need a new 3-in-1 FPV little setup. I wouldn't be mad if you spent it on that. Or a $60 set of goggles, or a little whoop, or a little JJRC little drone. I mean, there's just so many things out there that are really cool, or toy I haven't even reviewed or tried yet. You know, I want, it's your guys' winnings. So just comment what would be best, you think, for this particular 1,000 subscriber giveaway. This isn't the official announcement video. The rules and everything will be announced, and everything will be officially announced. This is just kind of a brainstorming, get your guys' thoughts on it. I think that would be cool. That's a way of saying thank you. I know I've monetized. I'm over 1,000 subscribers. So those little, you know, 6, 7, 8 second ads, just view them and then hit skip. You know, that makes a little bit of a difference. To be honest with you guys, it's gonna take it's gonna take a crap ton of views before it really makes any real money. I mean, I don't expect to get rich off of it. At least I get some of the money. And honestly, I'll probably end up putting it right back in the channel. So, you know, it's just a way to kind of keep everything going. And you never know, I may get to the point where they send me free stuff, I review it, and then I give it away or figure something out to do with it. So, it's just opening more doors, and I'm heading in the right direction. You know, the channel will be 3 years old in January. So, you know, it's a little bit of a ways from 3 years old. It's about 2.5 years old or so, if I had to estimate. So it's not, you know, terribly old, but I guess I could have hit 1,000. You know, some channels do better. I've had my issues, you know, with not having the proper editing, and, you know, some of my videos weren't that great. But, you know, you live and you learn. But the point is, I really love this hobby. I like to share, you know, my experiences with RCs and show you guys what they're about, and if I like them, you know, or not. If I don't like something, you'll hear me totally rag on it. But I've been honestly pretty fortunate and lucky. Like, you know, I've been pretty fortunate with some of the stuff I got. And honestly, like I said, you'll see, you know, a $500 DJI drone, or a, you know, $400, $300 jet, you know, or a $500 excavator, or something as cheap as $10 JJRC drone. You know, I like that variable. I don't like to just keep only expensive things, you know, $300, $400, $500 products. Everyone cannot afford that, and I know that. You know, I'm realistic, so you know, I don't expect anybody to have money to buy stuff like that. You know, it can add up, especially over time. So, you know, I want to review all spectrum of, you know, kind of toy grade, more hobby grade, like this, or, you know what I mean. So I like to have a fair, you know, I like to change it up and have different things. So that was one while we're still kind of brainstorming. One of the things was the Amazon gift card. I was looking into reviewing a boat. I was gonna think about giving the boat away. I don't know yet, but just put your suggestions in the comment below. Make sure they're family friendly, no cussing or anything bad like that, or slander or anything like that. Anything like that is just gonna be removed, and I'm gonna ignore it. There's no need for that, honestly, on this channel. There's enough bad out there. You know, we want to keep it family friendly. So yeah, I think this completes this video, at least for this part of it. So give me your guys' you know, ideas and brainstorms. Again, thanks to all the subscribers. I appreciate that. Make sure, just, you know, just if you want to play the ad, that's fine as well. You know, after a few seconds, I do believe they're skippable ads. And it really, you know, a tiny bit each time. I guess over time it can add up, you know, and it has to be like $100 before you cash it out, and I'm nowhere near that. So just to give you an extent, you know, I bought one thing that's more than I'll probably ever make on a channel. I bought several things that are probably more than I'll ever make on a channel. So it's not really to like get rich or, you know, make money off you guys. It's just to kind of help with the expenses of having a channel like this and buying products and then sharing it with you guys. So I'm super grateful that I could do this and share this with you guys. I'm super excited to hear this thing rip. That's, you know, like the big 3.3. I was excited about that ripping, but I'll tell you what, this right here, it's gonna be it. Like the jets sound good. I have some good sounding jets, but I think this right here is gonna take the cake. It's gonna sound amazing. So like I said, I'm gonna, you know, get the mount off the airplane and we're gonna set it up. I'm gonna have to get a fuel tank. The only thing I really need to run it is a fuel tank. I have a glow igniter, like the heats this up. I have that. I don't, and the fuel. So I need a fuel tank, fuel line, and fuel. Put the prop on, tighten it up nice and tight. And I don't think, you know, I need the actual wire. I could just, you know, rip this by hand. Maybe I could set something up with a little servo if I really wanted to. I doubt it. I'm not gonna do all that. But yeah, you know, run the fuel lines to the tank and everything. Put the fuel in it. And that, you know, that shouldn't be bad. So I'm really impressed with the compression. It doesn't seem to be a really old motor. It's had some, you know, some flights on it and some wear. So we'll see how it rips. Hopefully it runs good, and you know, we get, you know, once we get it dialed in and it runs really good, I feel comfortable enough to put it back on the plane. And then honestly, I planned on donating that plane. I feel kind of bad because it has so many issues. Like, one of the servos are bad. It's missing a fuel tank. It's missing a receiver. It's missing fuel wires. It's missing all the linkages and connections for that. It's missing the cowl. It's missing, the stabs need repairs in the back, both sides. It needs the hookup for the retracts. It does have the retracts in it. It needs the control servo horn. So it needs all these parts, and I was going to donate it to my local RC club. I feel bad. Then the guy was going to tear this motor down and do like bearings in it and stuff. That was going to cost money. So really, I feel like I was going to donate something that's a money pit to the club. So I was going to try to, you know, get the motor running myself, and then slowly work on it and still donate it to the club, just because something like that isn't very forgiving. So I've wrecked, you know. I mean, I'm a new pilot. I've wrecked. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So, you know, I've broke props. Sorry, my dog's pawing at the door. I've broke props. I've wrecked my jet. So trust me. You know, it being EPO foam is much easier to repair, much cheaper for your fuselage. An ARF or a kit like that will just literally crumble the wood. I mean, I'm not saying they're not repairable, but they literally crumble, and it's so much harder to fix. You have to have definitely some skill. You have to be able to wrap and cover the fuselage and everything. So I don't have those skills yet. I'm going to work on that, obviously. I'm going to be able to build my own kit and wrap it and just tune it and do everything. That's one of the goals. And then the goal of all goals is to run a jet turbine. So that's the main goal, to get to that level. I'm setting that goal for 5 years. I've been flying for 5 weeks, or I think 6 weeks. This will be the 7th weekend, I think. I went to the airfield to fly. So I'm nowhere near where I need to be. Well, I'm flying pretty good. I hope to get better. So, on that note, I gotta take the dog out and do a few other things. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your suggestions below, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.